Let's get started. Now, this chapter is about fills, strokes, and shapes. Let's start out with some kind of 101 stuff here. I've got Adobe Illustrator open. I am in the Essentials workspace right up here. Let's do something just simple, a brand new document. Go to the word File and go down to New. Now, I'm going to choose a web profile of 960 by 560, and I'm going to click OK. The profile doesn't matter. We are in, remember, Adobe Illustrator, not Photoshop. In Photoshop, it's not just about width and height, is it? It's about resolution. These are objects, doesn't matter. Give yourself a place to play. Now we're going to start out with these tools right over here. And since there's a lot of them, I'm going to tear off by clicking this button right here and move them over to about there. Now those are simple drawing shapes, but don't discount them because, well, I can draw a square, I can draw a circle. They are easier to use than the actual pen tool if you're drawing basic shapes. That's why I do like them. But there are a few tricks to these I can show you, I hope, that might make them more valuable to you. Let's start with the plain old rectangle, this one right here. If I come over here, you know this, I think. You click and drag, you draw a shape. Now I can draw any size shape that I want to because I'm not holding down any of the modifier keys, and I absolutely love that smart cursor telling me exactly what I've got in width and height. Most people probably understand if you hold the Shift key, you get a perfect square. If you let go, you're back in freeform mode. So remember, before you let go of the modifier key, you want to let go of the mouse. Now I still have it live. In other words, I still have the mouse down. If I hold down the Alt key, that's the Option key in a Mac, same key, different name, it draws in and out from center. And I can hold the Alt key and the Shift key at the same time and draw myself a perfect square that's coming out from center. Center meaning where I clicked, of course. Now again, I let go of the mouse first, and then basically I can let go of the modifier keys and I have a square. Now down here, I have a black stroke and a white fill. Now I achieve that by clicking this button right there. That button allows me to default the fill and the stroke. Now, since the fill is the same color as the background, it's kind of hard to really see it. So let's do this. Let's come back over here and pick up our selection tool, select the box, and change the color. Anything you want. Come over into your spectrum up here, have some fun. Dark green. Let's do that again. Let's come over here and pick up our rectangle tool. Now, I want to move this, but I have the rectangle tool selected, so I can't. So I can press and hold down the Control key, and that is the Command or Apple key in a Mac, and it temporarily gives me my main selection tool, which allows me, if I want to do this, to move it. If I let go of the Control key, it takes me back into the Square tool. I like modifiers like that because it prevents me from constantly going back and forth to the toolbar to get what I need. Now let's draw another one, another square. Now we know about the Square and the Alt key, but there's one more key that I find interesting. Let's say I'm drawing this, and let me hold down the Alt key, so I'm drawing out from center. What I want to do is I want this particular, whatever it is, square rectangle, and somehow to coordinate itself with the box that I've already drawn. Now I could let go, make the box, get my selection tool, move it over there, and then reform it. But here's a trick you might not know. Leave your hand on the mouse. You're still drawing, and since I'm using the Alt key, I still have that selected too. With my other finger, so I'm making like a peace sign with two fingers, and I'm pressing the space bar. Watch what happens. When you press the space bar, it locks you in and allows you to move the shape while you're drawing it. If I now let go of the space bar, and I'm still holding the Alt key down, I can continue the drawing process if I want to. And if I'm not quite sure that's where I want it to be, I can hold the space bar again and move it to a different position and basically keep the process up as long as I want to. You let go, obviously, of the mouse and then the modifier keys. So the space bar will work with all of these tools. It's kind of neat, though, because it locks it, allows you to move it, let go, you're back in business again. I'm going to press Command A, which is select all, and press the delete key to get rid of everything. Next tool over is the rounded rectangle tool. If I come over here and begin drawing, I draw a shape that is a rectangle, but it has rounded corners. Now, I can do that all day long. I can hold the Alt key down to draw from center, the Shift key to make it a square, the space bar to move it. Those keys work pretty much the same on both of these tools. That's going to change when we get to some of the other shapes. But let's say I like that, I'm happy with it. But I don't really like the corner angles. I want something maybe a little bit rounder or maybe less rounded. Again, most of you know this one. If you have one of these tools selected up here and you just simply click anywhere on the screen without dragging, it will open up the dialog box for the tool. And you can see we have a width of 334, and this is in pixels, by a height of 176, and the corner radius is 15 pixels. So what exactly is a corner radius? How is it defined? Well, do this. Put an imaginary point where the corner would be right up here. And there are 15 pixels from there and 15 from there. That's the corner radius. So I know if I increase that number, I'm going to get an edge that's rounder. But that's not what I want to do. I'm a visual person, not a mathematical person. I know it increases or decreases with the number, but I can't really see it until I go ahead and change it. Like say we say go to 30 and then click OK. And we have another rectangle with rounder sides. But now that's too much. I'm going to do Control-A, Delete just to clear the screen. Start drawing. You don't like the corner radius. Reach over. You still have it live. Still got the mouse selected. Press the up and down arrow keys and watch what happens. This is the down arrow key. And this is the up arrow key. If you press the left and right arrow keys, it takes it from maximum to minimum. So you could start with minimum and then press the up arrow key and slowly add your corner radius. So we have a way to do that, which is to me as a designer a visual way, not a mathematical way. And although I've used both, I like this way better because I can see what I am doing. All right, Control-A, Delete. Circle's pretty easy, or ellipse I should call it, what it is. If I come over here and begin drawing, Alt key draws from center. Shift key would be a perfect circle. We know that. Hold the space bar if you want to move it. That's it for that tool. There's nothing else fancy about it. We can move on to the next, which is the polygon. Now the polygon does by default 6 sides. The Alt key does not do anything. It will always draw a radius polygon. It's not going to be an oval or it's not going to be an ellipse. It's always going to look like that. If you hold the Shift key down, it kind of stabilizes it for you. But if we want more than 6 sides, we can come over here and click. We can change the radius, that's just one number, and we can change the sides, but I want to do it while I am watching it. So as I draw, I use the up and down arrow keys. And there is, say, a stop sign, at least in the United States. If I go down this way, I can go all the way to a triangle. A lot of people ask me how you make a triangle. Use the polygon tool and take off all the sides but 3. Hold the Shift key down, you got a perfect proportioned polygon that's now a triangle. And there you go. Let's go ahead, Control-A, Delete. Star's got a couple of tricks to it too. If I begin drawing without any modifiers, it draws a 5-pointed star. Now I can let go right there, get a little star, come over and click. I have radius 1 and radius 2. Radius 1 is the outside of the point of the star, and radius 2 is the inside. So I can make a more pointed star if I want to. And here are the points. But let's do this with the shortcuts because I think that's cooler. If I come over here somewhere and begin drawing again and I want more points on my star, I use the up and the down arrow keys. The left and right arrow keys won't do anything. Now the Alt key will do something. It will put the star, and notice how it changes it. It puts the points in a more horizontal or vertical position. So it creates a more stable star and changes the inside and outside. But how can I change the inside radius without, say, maybe impacting the outside without going and doing it manually? Well, let's get to right about here. Hold down the Control key. Now, when you do, it locks in the inside radius and allows you to make any star that you want. And of course, we can always use the up and down arrow keys to put more points on it. If I let go of the Control key, I'm still there. So I can come back down, say to here, hold the Control key again, and it will change it again. And I can, again, add more points, kind of like a snowflake, I guess. The last tool is the Flare tool. It's one of those tools that you kind of wonder why they made it, but it's there. And if I click anywhere on the screen without moving, basically I get this kind of interesting flare, and I get a lot of options to change it over here. Let me cancel out of that. Another way we can make one of these is by clicking and dragging, and then coming someplace else and clicking. And it creates this, well, lens flare. Now, I've used this flare occasionally, much smaller, to create a reflection on a pair of glasses on one of my clip art characters. Almost looks like a surrealistic, I don't know, planetary system in another galaxy. You could use it for a lot of different things. It's not a tool I use every day, but you have the flare tool. So let's end up this movie or this lesson, and let's go into the next lesson and look at a couple more of these things. On to the next.